their head up their asshole. So let's take...
It's still $500-600, and I'm drowning. It is so stressful.
So, like, yeah, fair use. I'm not profiting off of this. I'm just lining up scriptures with what these individuals are saying. I had to make a part 2, so, again, educational purposes, fair use, copyright disclaimer.
My kids have to eat. My bills have to be paid. Man, I just wish something would give.
What's up, America? The price of everything in America is going up. So you guys want to know how much more you're paying? Because I have information showing how much everything went up in America. And anybody saying that there's no affordability crisis has their head up their asshole. So let's take a look at how much more you're paying for every single thing in America. So before we start, look at the key up here. We have food, rent, electricity, utilities, used vehicles, motor vehicle maintenance, and car insurance. As you can see from 2020 on the chart, every single item I just mentioned is up. Every single item. Look at that. It even highlights, here's utility costs. Here's the cost of used vehicles. Here's the cost of car insurance. Look at that. Here's vehicle repair and maintenance. Here's the cost of electricity. Here's the cost to eat food outside your house. Here's the cost of food at home, cost of your rent. And overall, here's all your items. Actually, here's a handy dandy little chart we can go over together. So we've got motor vehicle insurance is up 56%, gas utility is up 48%, motor vehicle maintenance up 48%, coffee is up 46%, electricity up 40%. Meat, poultry, and fish up 38%. Food away from home up 34%. Used cars and trucks 33% higher. Rent is up 30% more on average. Bread is up 29%. Housekeeping supplies up 26%. All items on average are up 26%. Yak is up 25%. Personal care products up 24%. Milk is still up 24%. New cars and trucks still up 22%. So that's what I'm going to call an affordability crisis here in the United States. So all those items I just showed you, all of them must come down. A lot. Negative numbers, actually. Oh, I didn't add this in here. Healthcare is up about 20 to 30%, depending on what region of America you're in. So yeah, have fun in 2026 if you can afford fucking water and heat then.
Remember when grocery shopping used to be kind of mindless? You just grab what you needed, maybe toss in something extra, don't look at the prices, that was it. Now, it feels like a test, like you're standing there doing mental math, putting things back, second-guessing yourself, and somewhere along the way, feeding your family became this source of anxiety instead of something simple and rewarding. That's a strange grief, honestly, mourning the ease of something so basic. And to see that inflation is spread everywhere, and it's affecting every single aspect of our lives, is just painful. But now, here's the one that really keeps people up at night. Healthcare.
Guys, what are we doing about health insurance? I live in California, I'm a family of 4. Used to be $128 and now is going to be over $90.
And if you wasn't aware, healthcare had a big part in the reason why the government was shut down. Because of the fact, you got to understand these healthcare companies, these major corporations that deal with healthcare have the politicians in their pocket. Your politicians are bought and paid for it. They got free fucking healthcare. Did you know that? So, during that shutdown, they still got paid. And I forgot who said it, but pretty much, I think it was Unc 607. As crazy as that nigga is, showing you he's not crazy. That nigga literally did sell his soul. He'll tell you he sold his soul. And that's why you're catching all those videos about people talking about, I touched that cup. I touched that cup. What's that big gigantic nigga from Chicago that think he a rapper? That's really catching hell. That's why he always drinking so heavy. See, when we catch hell, you know what I'm saying? But we understand why we catching hell. He has no idea why he catching hell. But yeah, He said I shouldn't have touched that cut. He got an open case, all that stuff. So Salaki, I'm all over the place, but point being, yeah. So thank DJ Trump for these healthcare prices. You MAGA? She probably MAGA. No, I don't know that.
$100 a month. My income increased over whatever special limits that they were giving us, and now we are screwed. Paying almost $1,000 a month for health insurance for a bunch of healthy people who don't use insurance very often is completely out of reach, first of all, even in a higher pay bracket or whatever. $1,000 a month? That's rent. That's rent in some places. What is happening? And what are we doing about it? I'm honestly considering not being insured and just, like, if anything happens, winging it. Getting that medical debt on. Maybe just keep the kids insured. Like, what do you do in a situation where $1,000 a month is just not feasible? We need universal health care so badly because even the people that they deem wealthy enough to pay for this are not. We don't live a lavish life, okay? Anyone has any ideas? Please let me know. Thank you.
I just logged into my health insurance provider, and I'm in the same boat as so many people. It's absolutely stunning what just had happened. In June of 2025, my insurance went from $125 a month to now $426.84. And now, since it's open enrollment, it's unbelievable. I mean, I'm at a loss for words. It has now grown to $1,164.82. What am I going to do? How am I going to afford this? Do I have to cancel my insurance? Like, what's the way for Americans to get in health insurance? What are we all going to do? I'm broke. I can't afford it. It's a sad, sad day.
The health insurance situation in the United States is officially broken. It cannot be repaired. It is the Titanic sinking. The iceberg is the big, beautiful bill. It sunk our system. The system already stunk. My health insurance for 2025.
And it's spiritual because a lot of people brought this information out about what this thing, big, beautiful bill, why he called it a big, beautiful bill, mocking the people right in their face. This man is the fucking devil. Well, the particular elder, he broke it down. He said, when you that big, beautiful bill, that's 666 backwards. So, again, go DJ Trump.
For my family, my wife, and my beautiful son and myself was $1,500 per month. That has gone up to $2,150. That's an extra $600 to $700 per month. That's just the price to get in the door. That's the cover charge. Then you have your co-pays. Total out-of-pocket max for my family for 2026 will be $20,000. So the health insurance companies that we have to go with will not even give us full coverage till we spend $20,000 on top of the $2,150 per month. This is all in response to the big beautiful bill, which is ending the subsidies. The subsidies were the only thing keeping health insurance afloat for those that need this public marketplace option. And why should we live in a world where the other option is to work for a company that dangles your health over your head? That is like being an indentured servant. So many people have jobs that they don't want to have because the company...
Employee means slave. And we wage slaves. We wage slaves. Now they about to basically get rid of a system where, in order for you to actually be able to live, you don't have to work, but you're going to have to comply. You will own nothing and be happy. And if it's a world like that, fuck this world.
It offers them health insurance. It's ridiculous. We spend on...
Only in the world of a complete demon could that be like, and you talking about you don't, and then you got motherfuckers, and I'm gonna say it just like that. I ain't gonna say other Israelite camps or nothing. You got motherfuckers, because that's, come on, you tell me this dude deserve to make it? This motherfucker ruling like fucking Ming the Merciless, And yet still you talk about this motherfucker gonna make it. Like the elder said, I see an Edomite on the ship, we beating his ass.
Average $13,000
and then gonna throw his ass off the ship.
per person in our country on health insurance, which is going to skyrocket. And other first world countries that actually have universal health care spend less than that, $7,000-8,000 per person. The only solution is a universal system that we all pay into with our tax dollars, period.
More layoffs are coming in January 2026. I woke up today to the headline in Newsweek, quote, mass layoffs coming in January 2026, end quote. You can check this out in Newsweek and probably many other sources. We were already at COVID level, pandemic level unemployment. Our average is 4.6%, but it's as high as 6% in other states. You can check and see if you're getting laid off by checking warntracker.com. They typically are required to give at least a 60-day notice. Hi, my name's Christina. I have a master's degree in business. I have been warning you, the economy has been in trouble for several months. This is all 100% self-inflicted. Bad economic policy, tariffs, economic turmoil, chaos, ruining our trade relationship. All of this has contributed to a very bad economy in 2025, and it will continue at least for the next 3 years. And maybe even longer. Who knows how long it will take us to fix this mess.
2026 economic predictions, but not for the economy.
She funny, but ain't no fixing it. Oh wait, stick a fork in this, this female dog.
Economy so much as for the people. For the people! As a certified broke bitch under $45K a year my entire adult life. And I'm seeing that inflation is probably going to continue to rise.
She said 45K. At first I thought she might have been Jay. She said her whole life, listen, I have never got $45,000 a year. The fuck? $45,000 a year would be what? Like $22.50 an hour.
Is at higher than normal rates. Not crazy like 2023 or whatever, but just still higher than normal, which is going to put us in a broke people recession. I don't know if we'll hit an actual economic recession, maybe by the end of the year, but low income. My low-income besties are going to be acting like it's a recession because your basics are going to keep going up faster than wages can keep up with. Actually, it's not a competition. This is your time to get your shit together. From one broke bitch to another, you got to start saving up or paying off debt.
And she's right, because I believe they talking about the paycheck's going. Again, he's laughing at people for real. I see it for what it is, though. But I think they said this year, because each year, shit's supposed to increase, but they didn't increase anything last year, I don't think. Or if they did, it was so insignificant, people didn't pay attention. But I think minimum wage in our state is $10.70. I think they said minimum wage going up to $11. So 30 cents. There you go. Go DJ Trump.
Whichever. If you're broke, you can't do both, okay? You got to pick one. And if you want some encouragement and some tips and tricks as a certified broke bitch, hit that plus button and we'll try to figure this shit out together.
Hearing 2026 is projected to be a stable economy. Cool. Let's translate that, because when they say stable, they don't mean comfortable. They mean the system isn't collapsing. And those are two very different things. So here's what 2026 actually looks like. You're probably still going to have a job. Stores will still be open. The country won't crash, but groceries are still going to stay expensive. Rent is still going to be high. Childcare will still be outrageous. Healthcare is still a financial threat. And then they say, good news, GDP is up. So let me explain GDP really quick. So GDP is just the total amount of money moving around the country. That's it. If rent goes up, GDP goes up. If medical debt skyrockets, GDP goes up. If disaster happens and we have to rebuild, GDP goes up. GDP does not mean people are okay. It just means money changed hands. So politicians point to GDP and the stock market and say, see, the economy is strong. But GDP does not buy groceries. GDP does not pay rent. It doesn't care if you're drowning. And here's the part that they never say out loud. This pressure is intentional. Interest rates were raised on purpose. Debt was made more painful on purpose. Hiring slowed on purpose because squeezing regular people is how they cool the economy. If you are wealthy, that barely touches you. If you're a corporation, you're protected. But if you're living paycheck to paycheck, it hits you everywhere. So yes, the economy can be doing well while families are exhausted, broke, and one emergency away from disaster. That's why 2026 isn't projected to be a collapse. It is not a recovery either. It's just kind of survive, don't thrive year. Stable.
That ain't what that economist cover say.
For the system, heavy for the people. And if it feels like the math isn't mathing, you're not confused. You're just finally seeing who the economy was actually built for.
You know what? Another thing you could tell she wouldn't believe, she'd probably be like an atheist or some shit like that, or her concept of the God she believe in. You know, like AA. You know, you got a God you believe in, like some Freemasonry shit. Lady, don't you know our God, we worship a God that can do the impossible. I don't give a fuck how the system's supposed to work. I don't give a fuck how it look by the numbers and whatnot. You know, they'll predict that it's supposed to rain and that shit don't, because it's a prediction.
It's not us.
So this is what worries me the most because, oh yeah, you can cut back on groceries. You can downsize your apartment if you had to, but your body, you can't negotiate with that. And watching people weigh whether they can afford to stay insured, it's like watching someone decide whether they're allowed to be safe. That's the kind of fear that'll follow you everywhere, even when you're not thinking about it. It just lives in the background. And the outlook for the next year is kind of bleak, isn't it?
What's the statement? I forgot who made the statement. I know I forgot who originally quoted it, but the guy that wrote, what's the name of that fucking book? I know Will Smith always spoke on it. I spoke on it too, but it's an esoteric book. It was written by a Freemason. But basically made the quote, it's a quote that say, if you want to control people, make them fear. So yeah. Shit, if you live in a society where everything you say is monitored, so therefore if you say something, they can fuck up your livelihood. You know, a lot of people don't speak up because of the fact they worried about what's going to happen to their household, their family, where they're going to live, where they're going to stay. You know? I'm going to play the rest of this out.
So here's where I land with all of this. There's a difference between surviving and living. Right now, it feels like a lot of us are stuck in survival mode.
Now, I don't know if that was game or not, because he said us. You know what I'm saying? So when you got people, you know, because you got to understand, you know, like I listen to certain economists, like them average everyday Joes that just got a podcast. They might make, you know, like I was playing a guy, Large Man Abroad or something like that. And he was saying like a lot of people that got housing, you know what I mean? Like I live in a place that's got a housing management company, you know? But it's a regular probably person that's renting or own the house. They just pay them a fee for managing it, so they don't have to deal with it. They trying to sell this place ASAP. And the thing is this: they got a buyer, but I don't think they're gonna be able to sell it because the buyer ain't stupid. You know, like that was one of the things when I realized that buying a house was a fucking a scam, because the seller doesn't have to have the house inspected. You as the buyer got to get it inspected. So although you got to come up with a down payment and all, unless you go through like a program with your bank or like one of these housing programs, you coming out of pocket for paying for to make sure the house is up to date. So because if you buy the house in the as is condition and it's some issue with it, you're gonna be charged for it. So you might say, for instance, it might be $5,000 for the down payment, and that's on a low end ghetto house, right? On top of the fact you got to get pay the realtors, fee for basically going to do the work to get you the house. But usually they cut that out. You know, the realtor usually has the homeowner pay that. but you still gotta pay inspection, and it's another thing. You gotta pay for the inspection, and you gotta pay for something else. But basically, at the end of the day, you could end up paying like $7,500, and it's not even guaranteed that the house is gonna pass the inspection because the city gotta come inspect it as well. So all this shit a ripoff, man.
Getting through the month, just making it to the next paycheck, just hoping nothing breaks, nothing gets sick, nothing unexpected happens. That's an exhausting way to exist. And what I notice in all these videos is that people are asking for luxury.
And that's where we're gonna stop it, because like he said, that's a hell of a fucked up way to exist. But he's talking about, pretty much people aren't just sitting down and talking about it. No, it got to be more than that. But again, the Lord gonna put the spirit on them. You know what I mean? It's gonna have to be more than that. The dude that I did a video yesterday, Large Man Abroad, he said, shit, it's gonna take. You already know what it's gonna take. A revolt. And they priming the people's minds with that shit. That's why you had your Black Lives Matters protests and all this old shit. Think about how demonic this devil is. He got agent provocateurs in the midst of the shit, inciting people to, stirring up spirits to go do some shit. And then he gonna switch back on the side of this fuck around. Could be a police officer this guy could be anybody. And then he dressed like you and me, and then he fucking go back and beat it. That's why it was coming out about the guy that was like a victim, or if somebody's supposed to be dead, and then come to find out you'll see them on TV. Because that was like a stage actor. This place is such a fucking, that's again, what makes me laugh is people really want to uphold and lift this bitch up and keep this bitch going. Shit, it. So, I got some precepts to end it. I read Romans. I was gonna go back into it, but I'm not. So your one safety net is, if you're so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American, Seminole Indian, West Indian, Haitian, is to return onto Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. This isn't for everybody. Esau, Edom, and the rest of the heathen, they profit off of Jake. But you got stupid ass people. But it's so cold because the Lord had the elder in the spirit, or the spirit was on the elder to point all that out. I remember when he said them dudes is ages. And then the one brother, I think he from New Jersey, or Boston, he was breaking down, and the spirit led him to find out how pretty much that dude, Divide Prospect, whatever the fuck his name is, that dude literally is tied in with a group. That's why the scriptures talk about in the book of Luke chapter 12, no secret being hidden. All things coming to the light. Lord ain't playing with nobody. But you keep on thinking he playing so he can go ahead and visit your ass. It's the book of Proverbs chapter 1 and verse 20. Wisdom crieth without, she uttereth her voice in the streets. She crieth in the chief place of the concourse. So like she crieth in the chief place of concourse, which is the marketplace. And that's why the elders, when they gave us the blueprint, that's why we pretty much go to the marketplace, to the agora, to bring out the truth, because you're going to pretty much have every nation of people right there to hear the wisdom, which is this truth. In the openings of the gates, in the city she uttered her words, saying, how long, ye simple ones, will ye love simplicity? And scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge. Verse 23, turn you at my reproof, because again, they might not like our delivery, but again, why do truth got to have a delivery? You can sit up there and tell the truth so sweetly, and literally motherfuckers still don't listen to it. But once you telling the truth in a certain manner and motherfuckers bypass it and then literally think about what you said, go, I ain't like his delivery. But then when what you said actually come to pass, that's going to haunt that person. Think about it. A soft-spoken person is literally not paid attention to. People are fucking stupid. Turn you at my reproof. Behold, I will pour out my spirit onto you. I will make known my words unto you. Because I have called and ye refuse, I've stretched out my hand and no man regardeth. And that's going towards Jake, because the Lord is not concerned with every man on the planet. And like I said, the first 3 scriptures I brought on in the other video pretty much all went into the judgment of Jake. But again, when the Lord judged Jake, the rest of the world gonna get caught up in it because the world was made for Jake's sake. The Lord code. But it says, because I have called and you refuse, I have stretched out my hand and no man regardeth. I think I'll stop at 23. Turn you at my reproof. Behold, I will pour out my spirit onto you. I will make known my words unto you. Because I have called and ye refuse, I have stretched out my hand and no man regardeth. But ye have set at naught all my counsel and would none of my reproof. Verse 26, I also will laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear cometh. And that's why you be seeing the brothers in the spirit of laughing. Because the Lord is not going to come down and laugh. He's going to use the men that he put his spirit on, that's out on the highways and hedges, that's making these video epistles, that's literally warning you to laugh at you. You know, and that's typically what happens. You know, like you ever seen a movie or, I mean, I've experienced in real life. You see, you try to tell somebody something, they do it the opposite, and then you like, see, that's what your dumb ass get. I still never said that until recently. Lord got a way of giving you what you want, and then sometimes he gives you something extra. Verse 27, when your fear cometh as desolation and your destruction cometh as a whirlwind, when distress and anguish cometh upon you, then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer. They shall seek me early, but they shall not find me. Verse 29, for that they hated knowledge and did not choose the fear of the Lord. And the scriptures tell you the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. You know, and the scriptures tell you wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of our time, strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure. What is the wisdom and knowledge? It's the truth. The Bible tells you what the Lord is pleased in, what he's not pleased in, how to worship the Lord, all these different things. You got Jake sitting up there talking about, nigga, I want to worship Esau. And then when you realize how base Esau is, you're like, what the fuck wrong with Jake? And that's why we need a savior. You know, I was listening to the video of the elder that he said, you got people talking about fighting for, you know, land in Babylon the Great. Babylon the Great, Moab land. How the fuck you going, you know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck you talking about? But anyhow, say for instance, they wasn't give it to it. The elder said, what you gonna do with these YNs? He said, shit, because we got to go back to the scriptures. He said, you're going to have to do a lot of killing. I wouldn't want that on my hands. Let the Lord do it. Kill the wrong person, do the wrong shit, and you might get fucked up by the Lord. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't want nothing in this defiled place. You get what I'm saying? Like, this place is defiled. You know what I mean? The most precious thing you hold dear to here is defiled as well. It's like, my mind just gave it to me. If you ever seen The Walking Dead, it was like, even though they still was alive, when Rick found out, he said, shit, we all got the disease. So they all was infected. If the only thing was, if you didn't die, you was still regular. But once you died, you know, you became, right. You was assimilated. I think one of the hardest zombie ones right now is The Last of Us. The only thing I don't like, that's how you know it's demonic. They literally put all this homosexual shit in it, you know. Ephesians chapter 5 and verse, I gotta get ready to wrap this up. 5 and verse 50. This is Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 6. Let no man deceive you with vain words, for because of these things cometh the wrath of the Most High upon the children of disobedience, which is, you know, 2/3 of the nation, but that can be applied to Esau, Edom as well. So the Lord gonna judge everybody, you know what I mean? But especially 2/3. But the thing is, even if you're 2/3 and you get destroyed on this side, the Lord is so merciful, he gonna give you, you know, you're gonna still receive the kingdom. That's how merciful our power is. This is the book of 2nd Ezra chapter 8 and verse 50, and it reads, I'm gonna start at verse 48. And this also, thou art marvelous before the Most High. in that thou hast humbled thyself as it becometh thee, and hast not judged thyself worthy to be much glorified among the righteous, Salakia. You know, again, I battle pride, so, you know, again, the Lord doesn't deal with a prideful person. At least you repent, you know what I mean? And I can only imagine what certain brothers, you know, which have, you know, because the thing is, I've met certain brothers. The Lord so cold, he's utilized, you know, he really went fishing because everybody come from different walks of life. You got individuals that literally was in the corporate world. You got individuals that literally was entertainers and literally in sports and literally was actually on the field, you know, like literally on TV type shit. And then you got nobodies like me. Says verse 50. For many great miseries shall be done to them that in the latter time shall dwell in the world, because they have walked with great pride. So like it, because they have walked in great pride. And, you know, again, the Lord hates a prideful. You know, even after this shit with the government shutdown, motherfuckers is back proud. These nigga women, like, I mean, and that's amazing to me. Like, nigga, you just was up there crying your eyes out. Nah, it's like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, man, that shit crazy, man. You know what I mean? So when the Lord do it for real this time, man, that's gonna be. I'm telling y'all everything else. They did something so cold to me. I'm talking about like they talk about you sent me a letter. I got the fucking letter. They like we gonna take $100 away from you. Them motherfuckers took me down to $60. I couldn't do that but laugh. And I said, well, hold up, I got the letter. You know how you just do this? They do what the fuck they want, man. Like real talk. You know. Shit, it's gonna be some ramen noodles and shit. I go watch it. Hey, I already got a video queued up talking about the poor man meals and shit. Hey, we ain't gonna be eating just ramen, baby. We gonna be eating. You know what I mean? Like we gonna figure it out. You know, you ever see that apple pie made out of applesauce? I mean, apple juice. I asked my friend, would you eat that? Yeah, you eat that shit if it ain't nothing else to eat. Trust and believe. You ever been hungry? What they said, the Snickers commercial? Nigga, I've been hungry. And I still didn't eat the pork when they tried to give us a pork fucking hot dog. Verse 14, let go from the mortal thoughts, can't cast away the burdens of my man, put off now the weak nature. You know, remember this world is dying. And like I said again, you're going to have to leave behind all your possessions, including people, because they wasn't yours from the get-go. No, I've accepted that already. As much as, and it's funny because I went through a lot to try to get my children when the Lord's gonna give them back anyway. I just didn't look at it like that. I remember a particular brother was saying that. He said pretty much he was going through with the demon. He left his children and he said the Lord was so merciful, he brought them back before the end. So they, even though they were separated as his children was grown, they came back into his life. That's a beautiful thing. That's showing you how much the Lord loved that brother. That's why I can't just say somebody wicked, you know what I'm saying? You know. But don't be mad at me that you chose to, you know what I mean? Like, the fuck? Y'all chose to do these things and you mad at me. Be mad at Yahweh Bashem Yahushua for shedding light on the shit. So you ain't really got me offended. I was quiet. People got to poking the bear. If anybody you should be upset about, be upset. So my thing is this. After all this, you really think that it's gonna be the same if I was to be? No, this is gonna go down the way it is. And through the Spirit, I didn't even pray on it. And I prayed last time. Through the Spirit, I'm gonna do it like this. Through the Spirit, I'm gonna do a lesson on it. Because again, yeah, certain things you should get counsel on, but I prayed. That was a counsel. I told you, I prayed and a brother sat up there and did a lesson on it. Verse 15, and set aside thy thought. And he even said, if you, long as you know, if that's going to help you continue your walk, and set aside the thoughts that are most heavy unto thee, and haste thee to flee from these things. So like it from these times. I'm going to restart it. Verse 15, and set aside the thoughts that are most heavy unto thee, and haste thee to flee from these times. Verse 16, the point, for yet greater evils than those which thou hast seen happen shall be done hereafter. You ain't seen shit yet. I don't know if 2026 is gonna be the year. I hope it is shit. Based on that cover of that Economist magazine shit. That excited me. Shit. I was like, yeah. Because again, you don't know. Like the elder said, shit, I wanted this shit done 25 years ago, in the 80s. Sure, he wanted it done when the year 2000, all that. But to go back to all the way to the 80s, come on. And I can only imagine like what all they have seen. They've seen times past. You get what I'm saying? We are so significant, even the wicked ass individuals. We watching history transform before our eyes. They literally about to try to change. We about to go through an industrial change. And if you want to get your mind prepared for what it's going to be like, go watch any futuristic movie. Total Recall, The Running Man, what the fuck is that called? That Arnold Schwarzenegger movie when they went on Mars. Me and the brother used to joke because I used to be like Quanto. Hey, I'll be like Quanto, but no brother ever said, why don't you take some, you know what I mean? No kind of encouragement. You a grown man. You a grown man when you asking me for some fucking money, right? No, Salakia, though. I seriously don't. Again, I guess I'm a performer too. But let me go ahead and finish this because I'm about to have to go to work. So, it's gonna be completely bad, So you better get right with the Lord because again, the beautiful thing about our power is you can repent from damn near anything except for blasphemy of the Holy Spirit. So, you know what I mean? Again, why the doors of mercy still open? You bet to or don't. If you're so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American, Central Indian, West Indian, or Haitian, I implore you to come back to the laws, statutes, commandments of your power, whose true name in the Paleo-Hebrew is Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushua, or you will be destroyed. And with that, I want to give all praise, I want to give all honor, I want to give all glory to Elohim Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushua, Ba'Hashem Hakudash, double honors to the elders, to the apostles that I learned this truth from. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and the freedom to do so, now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akim and the Aquat up there listening and learning. Lord, willingly, this is edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations, appearing like the other nations, but subscribing to the truth, to you. I say shalom. Till next time, Lord, willingly, shalom, shalom. Kwame Yasharala, Mawakwa Babwa.